Hi there, Loy Machedo Sweeney from LoyMachedo.com. Who is Loy Machedo and Think Personal Branding? Few days ago, I got this gentleman who booked a session with me from Dubai. He was a disgruntled employee, and he asked me a rather strange question. His question was, Loy, how can I take revenge against my employer? How can I take revenge against him? So he had booked a session with me to find out how could he take revenge. He wanted to know how could he destroy his name online, on social media, ruin his name, whichever way possible. I listened to whatever he had to say. I asked him what was the problem. So obviously, long story short, the employer didn't pay his salary on time, was pretty abusive, treated the employees like crap. Even though someone in his family died, he didn't allow him to go and, go back to his home country and meet them. And he has done quite a number of things which, not worth talking about. So given the fact that he was still stuck in that company, he decided he would take revenge. So this is what I told him, and this is what I want to share with all of you. You need to understand that when you're an expatriate and you are in a foreign country, there are laws that govern that country. And sometimes in some countries, the laws support the citizens more, the laws support the investors more, it can support just about anyone. There is some of the laws are designed to support religion. Some of the laws are supposed to support, let's say, citizens more over expats. This is the reality of things. Now, in a perfect world, laws would be for right and wrong, and everyone would be happy. In a perfect world, we would have the bad guys go to jail, the good guys set free, and justice would be served. Sadly, this is not how the world operates, and this is not what we experience in our day-to-day lives. What I told him was, number one is, this is not your country. That's the first thing I told him. The second thing I told him was, your employer is rich. He has money. If he has money, he has contacts, he has connections, he has people in high places. He would also have let's say, the capacity to get himself a lawyer, a legal team. You not being rich enough in comparison to him, maybe you could not afford a lawyer, maybe you do not know what are the legal loopholes, maybe you don't have a legal team. So you are fighting a losing battle. And here's newsflash for those of you who are based in the Middle East, especially in Dubai. The laws are pretty strict governing social media. Now, you can take a photograph of someone who's doing something wrong, and if you post it on social media, even though you have caught that person red-handed doing something wrong, the person who took the video or the photograph will be jailed, will have to pay maybe 100,000 to $500,000. In fact, there was this incident that took place. You don't have to believe me. You can check it online. Let me Google it for you as I'm speaking to you. Jailed for taking photographs. There was, you just have to type this. It is a Swedish woman. A Swedish woman was deported from Dubai for taking photographs. Okay. There was a woman in Abu Dhabi who took a photograph of somebody else parked in a disabled parking area, and she was deported for taking the photograph and posting it on social media. She didn't post the person's identity, she didn't post anything, it was just the car. Now, why did she get deported? Because the car belonged to an Arab local lady, and I guess she was pretty influential. In fact, there was this video of a Arab man, just harmlessly beating a Asian for driving or something, and he took his, the stuff that they wear on top of their head, and he was taking and just hitting him this way, and the guy was just, showing fear. A young boy, he took the video and uploaded it on YouTube. The boy who took the video, he got jailed. His family had to undergo tremendous amount of pain and problems. So the first thing is, please do not take revenge against someone who's rich, who's powerful, who has contacts, who has connections, and especially if he is or she is an Arab local. It's their country. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay. In fact, it's an unspoken rule that if an expat were to, let's say, get into a legal problem with an Arab local, the Arab local by default wins the case. I personally, if you say, no, that's rubbish, I personally was taken to jail just because an Arab lady who was my student, she complained to the police stating that I was spoiling her name. I actually had a photograph with her taken because she had won a particular competition. We just took a photograph just holding the trophy and just standing together, and I'd taken her permission for that. So because of differences of opinion later on, she changed her verdict and claimed that I never took her permission, and this was actually destroying her name and reputation and whatever. And the cop, the inspector, told me that we can jail you for life. Your life will be destroyed. You better ask her to forgive you. And I was like, okay, please call her on the phone. I'll beg her forgiveness because I don't want to be jailed for the rest of my life. I didn't have the resources or the contacts or the connections to fight against, a local citizen of the country who maybe had a tremendous amount of connection. So what I'm trying to tell you is you need to know who you're fighting against. Now, if you have a problem with your employer, remember this much. You can only take that person to court if you have anything in writing or you have evidence. Okay. Now, verbal evidence is your words versus that person's words will not hold any good. And if the person has done something explicitly, like taking your passport and is not giving it, you can use Twitter to tag your, let's say, political representatives or leaders, and you can gain some attention and traction. If you go to the newspapers, well, they have people come to them every single day. So I told him to go to his embassy. I told him to tag the people who are the leaders in the community. I asked him to go to certain lawyers who kind of help without charging excess amount of money, and they give sometimes advice for free. And finally, I told him that you need to have a group of people who can approach, let's say, someone who is influential in terms of law. I gave him a couple of contacts and connections. So what I'm trying to tell you is, please understand, think logically, don't think emotionally. I made this mistake many years ago with my ex-employer who used to print fake degree certificates, and he still does it in Dubai, and he's making money. And even though I reported him, nobody did anything to him. So I guess, power and money and influence talks. So I had to bear the brunt of fighting against someone who's powerful and influential. And that's why I realized I'm not here to change the world. I'm just here to mind my own business, make my own money, get the fuck out. Okay? So please don't take revenge. Don't do anything that will get you into more serious trouble. If you don't have the money, you don't have the contacts, you don't have the connections, do not try to do anything that digs you in a deeper hole. If your passport is taken away from you, or you're not allowed to resign, or your salary is not paid for months together, approach your legal representatives. The problem with certain governments of especially third world countries, the population is so much, the representatives don't even care and don't even bother. Okay? But please, what I suggest to you strongly is meet someone who is influential or powerful, or someone who knows the law, and take advice from a credible source. Don't just read somewhere. Don't read the newspaper. Don't just listen. Even if you're watching my video, don't take it on face value. Do your research, approach a professional, and use common sense. Let common sense be your guide. So that's what I told him, and I think he took my advice to heart. I'm just glad he didn't do anything drastic. Remember, there is a solution for each and everything. You just have to figure out what are the loopholes in the system, or what can you do possibly, and try to get out of problem instead of digging yourself into a deeper hole. So live from Machedo.com, who's Live Machedo and Think Personal Branding. Like the video, thumbs up. Don't like it, thumbs down. Put your comments. I always read them. This is me signing off for now. Take care.